Iraq before 2003. To understand what happened in Iraq in 2003, it is necessary to begin much earlier, not with invasion plans, but with Iraq's position in the international system after the Cold War. In August 1990, Iraq under President Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. This triggered an international response led by the United States, resulting in the 1991 Gulf War. By February 1991, Iraqi forces were expelled from Kuwait. However, the war did not end Iraq's conflict with the international community. Under UN Security Council Resolution 687, Iraq was required to declare all chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons programs, destroy prohibited weapons, submit to intrusive inspections, accept long-term monitoring. From 1991 to 1998, inspections were carried out by UNSCOM, later replaced by UNMOVIC. During this period, Iraq destroyed large quantities of weapons, cooperated unevenly with inspectors, disputed inspection authority, accused inspectors of espionage. Sanctions imposed during the 1990s severely restricted Iraq's economy. By the late 1990s, Iraq's military capability was significantly degraded. In December 1998, following a breakdown in cooperation, the US and UK launched Operation Desert Fox, a 4-day bombing campaign. After this, inspectors withdrew. By 1999 to 2001, Iraq remained under sanctions, no-fly zones, and international isolation, but no active inspections were taking place. This is the state Iraq was in when the next phase began. The post-9/11 shift, 2001 to 2002. The attacks of September 11th, 2001 fundamentally changed US national security policy. Although Iraq had no proven involvement in the attacks, the strategic framework of US policy shifted toward prevention rather than response. In January 2002, President George W. Bush delivered the State of the Union address, introducing the phrase, "the axis of evil." Iraq was named alongside Iran and North Korea. The argument was not that Iraq had attacked the United States, but that it might in the future, particularly if weapons of mass destruction were involved. This was a shift from containment to prevention. At this point, no active WMD programs had been confirmed. No inspections were taking place. Intelligence assessments varied in confidence. But the policy direction was already changing. The stated justifications for war, 2002 to 2003. By 2002, the case for action against Iraq was presented publicly on 3 main grounds. PMIs, weapons of mass destruction. The central claim was that Iraq possessed chemical and biological weapons, was reconstituting nuclear capabilities, was concealing programs from inspectors. Senior officials making these claims included George W. Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of State Colin Powell, UK Prime Minister Tony Blair. On February 5, 2003, Colin Powell addressed the UN Security Council. He presented satellite imagery, intercepted communications, intelligence assessments. Powell claimed Iraq had mobile biological weapons laboratories, chemical weapons stockpiles, ongoing concealment operations. This presentation was widely reported as decisive. 2. Non-compliance with UN resolutions. In November 2002, the UN passed Resolution 1441, giving Iraq a final opportunity to comply. Inspectors returned under Blix, UNMOVIC, Mohamed ElBaradei, IAEA. Between November 2002 and March 2003, inspectors conducted hundreds of inspections, found no confirmed WMD stockpiles, requested additional time. Blix reported increasing cooperation. However, the US and UK argued Iraq's disclosures were incomplete. Cooperation was tactical, not genuine. Delay increased risk. The request for more inspections was rejected. 3. Preventive risk. The third justification was not evidence but intent. The argument stated Saddam Hussein had used chemical weapons in the 1980s. Sanctions might collapse. Iraq could rearm in the future. This was a preventive war doctrine. The claim was not that Iraq had attacked, but that waiting could be worse. The alliance and the invasion. The invasion of Iraq began on 20th of March 2003. The primary invading forces were United States, United Kingdom. Other military contributors included Australia, Poland. This group was described as the coalition of the willing. Politically, around 30 to 40 countries were listed as supporters, though most provided diplomatic backing, logistical access, no combat troops. Notably, France, Germany, Russia and China opposed the invasion. No second UN resolution explicitly authorizing force was passed. By the 9th of April 2003, Baghdad fell. What was found after the invasion, 2003 to 2005. After the invasion, the search for weapons began. The Iraq Survey Group, led initially by David Kay, later Charles Duelfer, was tasked with finding WMDs. By 2004, findings showed no active chemical weapons programs, no biological weapons stockpiles, no nuclear weapons development. In September 2004, the Duelfer report concluded Iraq had dismantled its WMD programs in the 1990s. No stockpiles existed in 2003. Sanctions and inspections had been effective. This contradicted the primary justification for war. What later investigations found. Multiple investigations followed. United States Senate Intelligence Committee reports, 2004 to 2006, found intelligence was overstated and dissent downplayed. United Kingdom Chilcot Inquiry, 2016, concluded the threat was presented with unwarranted certainty. Peaceful options were not exhausted. Planning for post-war Iraq was inadequate. Intelligence assessments. Declassified records showed uncertainty existed internally. Worst-case scenarios were treated as likely. Alternative assessments were marginalized. What was the excuse versus what the record showed? Public justification. Active WMD threat. Urgent danger. Last resort. What the record shows. No confirmed WMDs. Intelligence uncertainty. Preventive logic. Policy momentum ahead of confirmation. This does not mean leaders' new claims were false. It means they acted without confirmation while presenting certainty. That difference is critical. Conclusion. Why Iraq still matters. Iraq is not just a war. It is a case study in modern decision-making. It shows how uncertainty is managed, how narratives are constructed, how intelligence becomes policy, how records change history years later. Iraq did not change because facts changed. It changed because access changed. And that is why Iraq remains relevant